Barry Lyndon, a slightly lesser-known historical drama by the great Stanley Kubrick, is as close to perfect as any film has ever been. The film stars Ryan O'Neal as Redmond Barry, an Irishman of common birth who finds himself in various countries and sides during the 7 Years' War, and strives to become a man of wealth and privilege through any means necessary. The film is a timeless rags to riches and then to rags again story, and is divided into 2 acts. Act 1 follows Barry as he quarrels with a stuffy English captain for the love of his cousin Nora, enlists in the English army to avoid the fallout from a duel with the captain, ingratiates himself with the Dutch army, and ultimately gains fame as a gambler's assistant and wealth by marrying the beautiful Lady Lyndon, Maria Berenson. Act 2 depicts Barry's decline, as he squanders his wealth to acquire a noble title, mistreats his wife, and fosters resentment from his stepson, Lord Bullingdon, Leon Vitali. Barry Lyndon is a heartbreakingly beautiful film in every way, and not just visually, but let's start there. Kubrick's meticulous artistic vision is at show here in the period-perfect costumes and set design and the stunning elegance of the visuals. Every scene in Barry Lyndon is richly coloured and sumptuously composed, and the film has an aesthetic designed to evoke paintings of the 18th century. Contrary to popular belief, Barry Lyndon did use artificial lighting for some of its scenes, but Kubrick still used special thick camera lenses developed by NASA for the moon landings to enable the capture of many scenes lit only by candlelight. These remarkably beautiful scenes almost cast the impression that candlelight brings true light to the world of Barry Lyndon, as the candles cast a warm glow on the pallid faces of the card players and aristocrats, and the background is reduced to blackness as the candles highlight a little a moral universe of ambition, desire, and conceit. Every aspect of Barry Lyndon succeeds in immersing us in the film's world and investing us deeply and profoundly in its characters' troubles. Barry is a compelling, well-realized anti-hero whose complex journey elicits both sympathy and disgust. Early in the film, Barry is foolishly stubborn in his determination to win the hand of Nora from Captain Quinn, Leonard Rossiter, but this arrogant persistence is born from genuine young love for Nora, and a measure of resentment at Nora courting both himself and Quinn. With Barry's duel, his enlistment in the English army, his desertion, and his arrest by the Dutch forces, Barry's life becomes steadily worse, but these events are spurred by his twin motivations of greatness and freedom. His attempts at greatness manifest in joining the army, impersonating an officer, and telling a Dutch general fantastic stories of his experience, and his attempts at freedom manifest in fighting against Quinn's authority and leaving his miserable service in the army. But these motivations are not straightened by an adult's maturity or sense, and Barry comes across as a subtly duplicitous man. Most of his actions, from saving General Potstuff and dedicating himself to the regiment to marrying Lady Lyndon, are done for his own benefit, and it is horrible to watch Barry neglect his wife, be unfaithful constantly, and treat her as just a means to his fortune. Barry also lavishes affection on his biological son Brian, but regards his stepson Lord Bullingdon with cold distance. Lord Bullingdon is like Hamlet to Barry's King Claudius, only Bullingdon's bitter displeasure is directed overtly toward his new father, rather than passive-aggressively directed toward his mother. Lord Bullingdon, played as a child by Dominic Savage and as an adult by Leon Vitali, who both deliver mature, powerful performances, sees right through Barry for the self-serving, opportunistic commoner that he is, and rightly hates Barry for cuckolding his father and disrespecting his mother. Barry and Lord Bullingdon's adversarial relationship is intriguing for its Shakespearean parallels and how it effectively builds and develops Barry through the people around him, as good character studies should do. The Bullingdon subplot also culminates in a riveting rebuke that exposes Barry's true nature and a duel symbolic of a still spiteful reconciliation. Barry is a severely flawed man, but the film does not present him as a black-and-white bad man. He is compelled to seek freedom and success, ideals that most of us are almost hardwired as humans to want, but is vain, selfish, and uncompassionate in his pursuit of them. Looking at Barry using the Aristotelian system of ethics, in which moral acts are viewed in terms of virtues and vices, with vices of excess and inadequacy on either end and a moderate virtue in the middle, Barry has been taken hold by excess. His freedom comes out as disloyalty and infidelity, and his success comes out as greed and selfish ambition. But since Barry is an extreme reflection of desires we all have, he is therefore relatable as well as despicable, and you pity him more than you hate him. We also feel his tearful joy as he reunites with a fellow Irishman, and he loves his son Brian dearly. Brian's death, after being flung off a horse, had me tearing up with sorrow, and it's especially moving because Brian, in his dying moments, is at once more innocent and wise than his parents, as he pleads for them to be good to each other so that they may meet again in heaven. Barry Lyndon is an enthralling character study of an unlikable but resourceful and familiar anti-hero as he gains and loses his fortune, and has excellent characters and dialogue, highly engrossing character development, and gorgeous, groundbreaking cinematography and music. The movie may be nearly 3 hours long, but the plot and visual grandeur are consistently mesmerizing, and no part of the pacing feels padded or redundant. There are scenes to move the plot, advance the characters, generate atmosphere, or just to be beautiful. And there is nothing wrong with that. And I always appreciate it when a film introduces me to a great new classical piece. In this case, it's Haydn's Sarabande, a solemnly powerful, evocative piece. Barry Lyndon is a masterpiece. I still prefer 2001: A Space Odyssey and The Shining for sentimental reasons, but Paths of Glory and Barry Lyndon are Kubrick's two very best films, and Barry Lyndon is one of the best films I have ever seen. Barry Lyndon earns 5 stars out of 5. Thanks for watching. Cheers.